I can hear liberation singing to me, like Diana Ross. For me to be free today, my ancestors have suffered a great deal of exhaust, so it is up to me to make sure that their legacy is never lost. I can hear liberation singing to me, like Gladys Knight. I heard Atlanta was the Black Mecca, so I left South Carolina on a midnight train to Georgia one night. I can hear liberation singing to me, like Aretha Franklin. We need a petition to get Malcolm X put on that $100 bill and take off, Benjamin Franklin. I can hear liberation singing to me, like Erykah Badu. Somebody tell Congress to pass Bill H.R. 40 and give us our reparations that we'll do. I can hear liberation singing to me, like India Arie. I fight daily for my people, like Layla Ali. I can hear liberation singing to me, like Lauryn Hill. If I ruled the world, there would be no such thing as a police responsible for a black person being killed. I can hear liberation singing to me, like Angie Stone. Africa is in my...
Hey, yo, Sway, you destined for greatness, bro.
Thank you for tuning into yet another episode of the Breaking the Silence with Arthur, Nikki, Nicole, where you can unleash your inner voice. I hope everyone's day was filled with nothing but blessings. Well, let me get to the reason why we are here. Today's guest is Josh Vandroff, better known as Josh V. I've been knowing Josh for a very long time. He has also been featured on the Breaking the Silence podcast twice with his amazing spoken word. Josh was born and raised in Mullins, South Carolina. He later relocated to Atlanta at the age of 18 to attend college and has spent his entire adulthood there. He started writing poetry around the third grade, but always focused more on the athletics than writing. So he only shared his content with a few people. He began sharing his poetry while in Atlanta, but shied away from it until 2021, until a place called The Core in East Point, Georgia, woke up that talent again. He became a regular at their weekly open mic night, in which led to him annually being a part of the Nat Turner Poetry Slam and claimed Malcolm X Poetry Show, hosted by Pamela Starr. He then became a regular on a virtual open mic on IG by the name of Hump Day Healing, hosted by Jay Patrice, which led him to his first and only time performing at the famous Apache. Other things in life pulled him back from being active on the poetry scene, but once again, he was pulled back in. So everyone, please welcome the award-winning spoken word artist, Josh V, to the stage. How you doing?
Peace and love. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm well. I'm glad that you became a guest on my also podcast and being on my open mic. I really appreciate your support on this journey.
Appreciate you for the invite.
Absolutely. So what sparked your interest in poetry at a young age?
I'm trying to recall like my first, I know I started writing when I was in elementary. I don't remember what initially made me start writing, but if you remember, I know we're in two different age brackets, but they had a test called the PAC testing when we was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all had the PAC test?
Mm-hmm.
And they used to have this portion the English portion about, you had to write like some type of short story or something. And at first when I saw it, I used to like I didn't want to do it. Like I was like, I don't know if I can, write this many paragraphs or whatever. But once I did it a couple times, I learned how to kind of story tell. and I guess I became interested, like being like a storyteller, kind of.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So who are your biggest supporters in writing?
As of now, or like coming up, or
Coming up and as of now?
like I said, I didn't really like share with nobody back then. You know, like if you was in my immediate crew, you might have knew, or every now and then, you know how back then we do freestyles and stuff like that. So we would do that kind of stuff, and the people in my immediate circle knew, but I never really shared it like that. But like as you said, when I got to Atlanta, you know, the core family, that's what really pushed me. Because when I went out there, I went just to be a guest. I wasn't trying to, get on stage, and they like Jay Muse, she pulled me on stage and kind of made me perform.
Wow.
And they just kept pushing me. So, but then, like I said, Jay Catrice and really the whole Atlanta scene, like every poet that ever came in contact with in Atlanta, they always kept pushing me and always gave me words of advice, like the village inspired poets. Some of the poets from Westmore Drive was it's a group called Westmore Drive. Which I got Georgia Meade, Abyss. Just being around, them and seeing them at their shows, but the VIP poets, like I think it's 9 of them all together. One of the main ones being Mr. B Rock. They just always gave me, words of advice to, keep going.
So basically, a change of scenery brung that back alive, basically.
Yeah. I mean, Atlanta is like a city full of artists. And even when I say when I was in college too, it was some guys that was trying to push me to get in the studio and stuff, but I just wasn't feeling it at the time.
Right, right. But everybody says if you make it to Atlanta, you can go anywhere you want to go in any industry that you're in. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess so. It's like you said, all the artists are there.
Mm-hmm.
So what experiences, what was your experience like for the first time performing on the stage?
Can you hear me good? My volume kind of look. The first experience
On that stage.
very, very nervous. Very yeah, heart was beating very fast.
Wow. I'm sure you got a round of applause after you finished performing. How did that feel getting that response, that positive response after being on that stage for the first time?
It made me feel like I could do it. Like, it made me feel like people was receptive to it and wanted to hear what I had to say. And I guess they saw that I had a message and they wanted more of that message. So it kind of, made me say, well, if it's a need for it, then I should provide it.
All right. So why did you have that gap in between you stopped, writing and performing and up until 2021? What caused you not to write anymore?
Well, I always wrote. I just never, I mean, I write. I was writing even in high school. I just, like I said, was never sharing it. But I think you referring to, you said the gap but from my first performance up until now.
Well, you say you stopped until 2021.
I just never performed on stage until 2021.
Oh,
But
okay.
I always wrote. I just didn't never really share it. But recently, I had a phase where I didn't really put out no content or do nothing because I had other things in my personal life that was kind of pulling me away from it.
Right. But that's the time I feel that's the time when like you're dealing with a lot of things. That's the best time to really get all of your emotions out.
Yeah.
And those sometimes that's your best writings. So you didn't stop writing. So I hope that you wrote in that hurt and that pain and whatever you were going through, because that's probably your best pieces that you ever write, honestly.
Yeah, you're right.
So how do you see yourself going? How far do you see yourself going in poetry?
I wanna be the person that like bridge the gap. Like, I mean, I know it's probably already been done before, but I'm not like a poet that's trying to be like this famous poet and trying to win a lot of awards and nothing like that. I want to bridge the gaps between my worlds. Like, I'm a business graduate, I have a business degree. Then I'm a historian. So I want to be called as a poet to do Black history programs or Black History Month commercials and stuff like that. And then maybe somewhere merging into my business background. Like I got this saying that's like my ancestors are my angel investors. And if you know anything about business, you know the angel investor is the person that invests in you that nobody kind of knows. Like, you know, so I kind of just want to bridge all my worlds together and have whatever comes out of that, then that's where I want to, you know, go with it.
Okay, but you know, I found out when in one of my appearances that poetry is actually an issue. You can go to the Grammys. You
Say
can
it
be
again.
Grammy. You can be Grammy nominated.
Oh yeah.
You ever thought about doing that?
Uh, I'll be listening to Queen Sheba talking about her Grammy
Hmm.
experience a lot, and you know, it's worth putting the effort in, and people like Jay Ivy, you know, that was motivational for him and Queen Sheba and people like that to get nominated, and you know now how you know they got it specifically for poetry, spoken word. They're not merging it
Right.
with other categories now,
Right.
so that's you know that is motivating. I mean, I haven't really looked at it as me being in it, but I mean, I did know like Queen Sheba was talking about even if you think about it, just go ahead and have your package together. Go ahead and prepare an album or have your stuff together. So when I heard her say that, I believe I heard her say that on Miss Tanya, the Poet Podcast. Miss Tanya out of Florence.
You know, I had her on Breaking the Silence as well.
Miss Tanya.
Queen Sheba.
Oh, Queen Sheba. Yeah.
Yeah, I had her. She was a guest on my podcast. That's how I knew about the Grammy nominated. And how is you and the other poets? It's not really like runner ups or anything like that. Either you win, and it's just one person that's gonna win. There's nobody to follow it.
Yeah. So
And
yeah,
she,
that
but
made me want to put that packet together. So now I'm thinking about, you know, trying to get some live instrumentals and you know some musicians to play me something in my background so I can really put together a spoken word album.
you need to definitely. So, what in Atlanta pushed you to share with the world? Because when you got to Atlanta, that's when it seems like you started opening up more and stepping on the stage.
I think I know when I first got to Atlanta, it was like it might sound crazy, but it was like a cultural shock. Like, you know, we from Mullins, a small town. And Atlanta is not a big city when you compare it to other major cities, but
Right.
to Mullins is a big place, you know,
Right.
so it was like a lot of people in Atlanta was from other major cities. The people that was from Atlanta, okay, they already from a city. And then there was a lot of other people that was from other major cities in Atlanta. So it was like a lot of them wasn't familiar with uh, a country life or being from the country, or
Hmm.
they only had they thought that going in the city goes on in the small town too. But it ain't like we have movies or nothing that represents us on the big
Right.
screen. Like somebody,
Right.
because I might see a person. I'm trying to get off topic, but you might hear a person, I'm from a town, and you'll Google their population, they might say 100,000 or 80,000. And I'm like, nah, it's just like the small towns went our stories and our life and especially our rich history. I feel like
Right.
it just wasn't represented, or they was just very unfamiliar with it. So I felt like it was up to me to kind of,
You still with me? You still with me?
yeah, hey, yeah, can you hear me?
Okay. I think
Yeah.
your connection was kind of going in and out. But yeah, I mean, so basically you
Okay.
brought something different to Atlanta. Basically, bring something different to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't know about those roots from the country.
Nah,
So what can you share? What can you share with others about pursuing their passion?
don't ever let nothing pull you away from it. Like you said earlier, whether it's life, personal stuff, like keep pushing through it and stay consistent.
Absolutely, because once
You
you
know,
stop,
because I
that's
mean,
it.
I'm
Once you stop,
speaking to myself always consistent. Yep.
awesome, awesome.
And I would look at your passion as like that's your thing. Like don't ever scroll away from it, because that's gonna tie into your purpose in life. You know, and every day you want to live in purpose. So if you're not
Exactly.
living,
How did being able to perform at that Apache make you feel?
it kind of I left because if you tell anybody, you do spoken word and you're in Atlanta, the first thing they're gonna ask you, you ever performed at Apache? It's like a world famous question, you know. And before I ever performed there, you know, I've been there a couple times, you know, to other shows, but after doing it, I felt kind of like, okay, I got to keep going after this. Like, you know, this is like a stepping stone, like a landmark, you know, and I got to keep going forward from here.
So is it hard to be able to perform there? What is the patch? Is it some type of big time place that people perform?
Um, it's like people like India Ari came through there back in the early days. I'm trying to think of the movie. They got a movie out about it. Oh man, it's called. I want to say on Spring and Third.
Okay.
I have to get the exact name of the movie, but they just did a documentary on it like last year maybe. You know, it's like you know how you have the Apollo Theater in
Mm-hmm.
Harlem. It
Mm-hmm.
was kind of like that same energy in Atlanta. So a lot of
Mm.
those great acts came through there when they were still independent artists or on their come up. And it's like it's a very tough crowd. You know, it's like it's not just like a regular. It's kind of like where real deal musicians and real deal artists go. Like it's not really for amateurs, kind of. So like if I could put it the best way, it's for like them people that's very really hungry and serious about their artistry.
Hmm.
So the crowd is
So
kind of tough, you know.
so what did you have to do to be able to perform there? Did you have to audition? Did you have to sign up? Did you have to pay to be there?
No, we was at a showcase. So like I was saying, I was a part of the Hump Day Healing. Uh, and Jay Catrice, she's born and raised in Atlanta, so she was able to get us a showcase at Apache.
Mm.
So it was kind of like you know we kind of went in through the side door, basically, you know.
Wow. Yeah, and that's why it's important to know people. I don't care what people say. Who you know helps you on your journey. And that's just true. I don't care how you dress it up. It's just
Mm-hmm.
true. I mean, your success gonna get you to a certain point, but when you know somebody to get you to the next level, that helps you the whole way. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna as we wrap up our conversation to the last final question for you today. This is the most important question. Where can people find your poetry and where can they follow your journey as a poet?
Um, I got some of my poetry on Instagram. I got some old videos on YouTube, but I don't really perform those pieces no more. So that was kind of my beginning stages. So that was like me just trying to, you know, trying to perfect the craft. But you can mainly find my poetry on what I do got up there on Instagram. The Instagram is Josh_V_843. Don't really have a lot on Facebook, so I'm gonna try to get some on Facebook soon. And thanks to you, you know, you've been sharing, so sharing some of the worker stuff. So I'm gonna try to get some on Facebook, but the YouTube videos are kind of older and the quality isn't really that good. So
Mhm.
um now I'm in like a revamp stage of my career. Like I'm kind of start from scratch all over again, if that makes sense.
Yep, that makes sense. I
So
mean,
yeah,
you grow to different levels and you have different ways of writing. You know, when you were young, you wrote a certain type of way, but then you started getting older and now it's experience that you're writing from. So I
yeah.
get it.
So
Levels of
Instagram
life.
mainly Instagram for now. Um, and a few I have, you know, I'll probably make a YouTube page and you know, so I can actually put out more content more consistently. But like I said, you did create a spark in me, so I got a couple of videos I got to release now that I got just waiting. So stay in tune with the Instagram because I want to start dropping videos up there at least, hopefully once a week at the minimum.
Okay, definitely. Now, you know, once you drop them, I'm going to grab them, I'm going to share them. So, hey, I'm going to bring awareness all around the
I
way.
appreciate it.
Well, y'all heard it right from him. Y'all got to follow him on Instagram and try to support him on his poetry journey. He is going to be great. He's already great. Let me change that. He's already great. You got to tap in and listen to some of his poetry. It's very powerful. You can tell it's from the heart, from experience. Very, 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 very interesting. Thanks, Josh, also for being a part of my open mic. Thank you for being a part of the Breaking the Silence. I cannot tell you how grateful I am to have you on this journey with me, especially someone from my hometown, someone I personally know. So thank you so much for supporting me on this journey.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you everyone else out there for tuning in to yet another episode of Breaking the Silence. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Breaking the Silence podcast YouTube channel for updates, snippets, and more. Remember, you define your own life. Don't let other people write your script. So tune in next time to break the silence together.
Wasted too much time. Now I'm here and crying. And I don't think he's coming back. Been around the world and
Hey, yo, Sway, you destined for greatness, bro.